Hi, and welcome to Curt and Paul Discuss. I'm your host, Paul Chappell, and today I'm reviewing First Man starring Ryan Gosling as Neil Armstrong, directed by Damien Chazelle. And I have to say, first, right off the bat, I saw this movie 2 weeks ago, and I really didn't think I was going to get around to this review just because of the political firestorm this movie created when it came out. Because I don't know, somebody got offended because there wasn't a dramatic scene of Neil Armstrong planting the American flag on the moon, and it actually offended both Republicans and Democrats, because I guess the Democrats were offended because of the name First Man. Oh, you can't have a movie with man in the title. So maybe it's unfair to say the Democrats, feminists were offended. You know, one day it's just going to be illegal to be a man, I think. But there I go, getting into politics. I hate politics. I don't like talking about politics. I have ideas, don't get me wrong. But I think I've reached a point in my life where I just find it boring and just nauseating to discuss politics. So for that reason, I did not want to review this movie. Also, politics are the easiest way to offend people these days. But I was just uneasy after I saw this movie, because deep inside I did not see Neil Armstrong as a hero. But I finally came to the conclusion that that was the intention, because Neil Armstrong did not see himself as a hero. And the reason for that is because he was humble, which is something we don't see a lot today. Humility is not an American trait that is celebrated, even though our country was founded on humility. I mean, if you think about George Washington, he defeated the greatest military power in the world at that time, the British. And they wanted to make him king of the colonies. And he famously said, "I did not defeat King George III to become King George I." Because George Washington was a farmer, and he was humble, and he hated politics. He went back to his farm until later he was called to serve his country. And what did he do? He became our first president, because everyone knew he was a humble man who would work for the people and not for himself. And we've lost that as a country. We've lost that. A good example is superhero movies. When they did the recent reboot of Superman, Zack Snyder did not know what to do with Superman. He did not think that Superman would work in our contemporary climate, because we do not respect humility. Superman, when he was created, I think humility was the last time in our history where that trait in a superhero was respected. We see the same thing with Captain America. I mean, if you go back and watch Avengers, the major conflict between Captain America and Iron Man is that Captain America does not think that Iron Man is the type, or Tony Stark. He does not think Tony Stark is the type of man to lay down his life for his fellow man.
I've seen the footage. The only thing you really fight for is yourself. You're not the guy to make the sacrifice play, to lay down on a wire and let the other guy crawl over you.
I think I would just cut the wire.
Always a way out. You know, you may not be a threat, but you better stop pretending to be a hero.
And of course, we all know how it ends. Iron Man actually does attempt to make that ultimate sacrifice. But, it just goes to show you that that's one of the reasons why I actually like Captain America. He has that humility. He has that love for his fellow man. He doesn't think of himself as a hero, so of course he's heroic. And everything I've read about Neil Armstrong, he was cut from the same cloth. He he famously did not seek political office. After he retired from NASA. Um, he did the same thing as George Washington, and that comes across in the movie. I mean, he, he's not cursing and quipping throughout the movie like some crazy, deranged cop. He's not. I'm trying to think of a appropriate hero. He's not John McClane. He's not making cynical, snide comments every time he kills a criminal. I mean, he doesn't kill anybody, but you know what I'm saying. He's not that type of hero. His accomplishments were the accumulation of many people's accomplishments. I mean, watching this film, I was just astonished at how many people actually died in the run up to the Apollo 11 mission. I mean, many, many, many astronauts that famously Apollo, I think it was the Apollo 1 astronauts died in the cockpit of a fire. I think he realized that he was just one of a greater number of people that made the first moon landing happen. I mean, and famously he said, that's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. He did not say it's one small step for America. He didn't say that. He didn't make it political. He saw it as he should have seen it, as a step for humankind, not just his particular people, his particular ilk, for humankind, mankind. So that comes across in this movie. Of course, this movie was a showcase for our latest CGI. You actually feel like you're there with them as they're venturing to Mars. I mean, it's a beautiful film. One thing I will say, the one criticism that was also lobbed against the movie was the fact that they didn't actually have any Americans in the title role. But I just saw that as just another example of how this accomplishment, this going to the moon, was more than an American achievement. It was an achievement for humankind. You got a Canadian playing the main part, Ryan Gosling. You got Claire Foy playing his wife. She's a British actress famous for The Crown. You got an Australian actor playing as one of his friends, Jason Clarke, playing Ed White in the movie. But there's a lot of foreigners playing the American parts, which I guess goes to show you it's very easy playing an American. Maybe we aren't as unique as we think we are. Quite possibly. I know, probably treason for me to say that. But this movie also brings out the point that during the time that NASA was spending literally billions on these space missions, we had hunger in the United States. And that's something to think about. What's more important? But there's also a clip in the movie of John F. Kennedy saying, "We do not do things because they are simple. We do things because they are hard." So I do think that the effort, the lives lost, was necessary. It's necessary for us to progress and get better and make those technological leaps, because it's ultimately is going to be good for humankind, hopefully. So all the politics, we need to leave that. If we're going to make, I mean, I don't want to get up on my soapbox, but I guess I am at this point. But if we're going to make any kind of progress as the human race, we have to get beyond this bickering, this refusal to be a united people. I don't know. Somebody else can say it more eloquently than I'm saying it now, but you know what I'm saying. It's a great movie. I wouldn't say, like I said, if you're looking for some kind of action here, you're not going to find it in this film. It's much more subtle than that. And Neil Armstrong was a great man. And like I said, but I'll just say humility was the real hero in this movie. But it's worth seeing. And I guess that's all I'm going to say about First Man. So at this point, I'm not even sure if it's playing in theaters, but if it comes out on Blu-ray, I think it's, or Netflix or something, it's worth a watch. And that's all I got for today. And thanks for listening to me ramble. And I will see you when I see you.